We are a heterosexual couple in our early 30s. To start off, my husband has always seemed very innocent through our whole relationship. He was raised religious, and he didn't have a lot of close friends to talk to this stuff about. He was a virgin when we met, and I had been in prior relationships, even some long-term, so I have had a few sexual partners. Because of his upbringing, he's very timid and embarrassed when it comes to sex. I always thought he had a low sex drive throughout our whole relationship because I can count the amount of times he initiated sex on one hand, and he does not seem to have the porn turn-ons that a lot of men have, like gagging and anal. He could never tell me what he was into, like he didn't know or it embarrassed him, but it didn't stop us from having good sex every now and then. I will say it's always led by me. He acts like he doesn't know what to do, so I get on top and we do have a good time. For all of those reasons, I thought this whole time that he was a rare guy who just didn't watch porn. And we didn't talk about it. But the sex has been dwindling lately and for the past year. I'm lucky if we have sex once a week, and the past couple of times he hasn't been able to keep it up. I told him a few times I felt like he was not attracted to me, and he says he is. He just didn't know what was wrong. Now yesterday, after some terrible sex where he can't get hard, he just broke down crying and told me he has had a porn addiction since he was a child. He was feeling some heavy guilt that I didn't quite understand because when I pressed him for more details it sounded like very normal stuff. He told me about when he was a kid and he looked at the lingerie catalogs that came in the mail and then later having porn saved on the computer. I tell him this sounds completely normal, but I guess the way his parents shamed him when he was a kid made him feel awful. And he says he's still addicted and masturbating after I go to bed 3 to 5 times a week. He looks at OnlyFans and had some subscriptions. We have sex at most once a week and I don't feel desired, so it has affected us. Now at that point I was disappointed, but I could handle it. I thought this is somewhat of a common problem to have. But then he started crying more and said he felt so embarrassed and ashamed for looking at some Lolita-type stuff featuring young girls in a studio setting all dolled up. My heart dropped as I asked him more about this. But he says the photos don't get taken down because they are technically tame. Like it's young girls wearing bikinis or something. The same photos have been around since his friend from high school told him about it being on 4chan probably a decade ago. But it's still fucked up. He masturbated to this stuff many times, I'm certain. He said 90% of the time he watched adult porn but sometimes looks at this other with young girls. And he told me he cut the porn cold turkey a few days ago and is starting therapy this week. He made an appointment with a therapist that specializes in porn addiction, and he has actually been coming to bed at the same time as me for a few days now, which he never does. This was my dream man and he revealed this to me crying face, can we get past this?